Hey guys, it's me, Maddie, back in the AFI DIY lab, coming at you guys with a fun, fragrant project for you guys to try out, which is Air Freshies. If you've seen these around the internet, you'll know just how easy they are to customize with endless shapes, colors, and fragrance combinations. So hit that like button if you're excited to try them out, and then we can get started. Alrighty, so for this project, you'll need some of these neat little plastic beads, just like that. And they can be found online and in stores under the name Aroma Beads, and they're made of polymer that absorbs oil-based substances like fragrance. So I have all of my beads pre-measured and they're ready to go. And the amount of beads you will use depend on the size of your molds. So in my case, that's about 6 ounces of beads. So make sure your container you use is either glass or HDPE plastic, and fragrance oil will degrade other types of plastic, and we definitely don't want that to happen. So this DIY is pretty simple, so now it's already time to add in our fragrance. Now there's tens of thousands of options at your fingertips when it comes to fragrance on the AFI web store. I wasn't sure where to start, so I used the search filter options to narrow it down based on some of my favorite fragrance families. And lately I've been digging something a little sweet, a little bit of fruity. So that being said, my choice for today's scent is Cherry Pomegranate. Whoa. So this is already measured out and ready to go, so all I have to do is dump it in with our beads. And remember, these beads can hold up to 30% of their weight in fragrance, but this might not be the case for all fragrances. So you may only need to use about 10 to 20% fragrance if your chosen scent is very thick and heavy. So the last step before we seal this container up is adding colorant. You can use liquid candle dye, which is oil-based, or shimmery mica powders like me. So I'm going to be using a fun bright pink mica, and I'm going to toss in an optional teaspoon of glitter. You should add in glitter. It makes everything better. So water-based dyes like food or soap coloring will not work in this project, just to keep you guys up to date. You've added in the colorant and fragrance into your beads. It's time to give it all a shake. So I'm going to grab my lid here, and you're just going to tightly seal the lid on your container and mix everything up until all the beads are evenly coated in the fragrance oil and the colorant. Whoa! Whoa!
What?
Did you see that?
What's going on?
Okay. And now we shake. So now we have to be patient and allow the beads to absorb the fragrance, and this process usually takes about 1 to 2 days for lighter fragrances, but others can take an entire week or weeks to fully absorb into the beads. So regardless of the fragrance you choose, place a container in a location where you'll remember to shake it up every now and then when the beads are dry and they no longer stick to the sides of the container, then they're good to go. So if you notice your beads still haven't absorbed all the fragrance, after a week you can add more beads. Add another ounce of beads, shaking the container and leaving it to sit again until everything is fully absorbed. So I'm going to let these soak until the fragrance has been fully soaked up, and then I'll see you guys in just a moment thanks to the power of movie magic. So my beads are completely dry and we're ready for the next step. So I'm going to just remove this real quick. And just to show you, you can see they look dry, so that's how you know, obviously. So I'm going to set this off to the side, and then I'm going to grab my spoon and then my mold of choice. So I just chose to go with something pretty simple. It's just some round molds here, but don't be afraid to experiment with any fun shapes. You can do hearts, stars, just add a little bit to it. And remember that you can use heat-safe silicone molds like I'm using here, or if you want to use cookie cutters, that's completely fine too. Alright, so I'm going to use my spoon just to spoon this in, but just for safety measures because there is a little bit of dye in here. I don't want my hands to turn hot pink. So I'm going to grab my gloves real quick. Alright, now we're good to go. So before I go ahead and spoon these in, I'm actually going to grab a tray before I slide them into our little oven over here, just to help avoid me spilling anything, because we all know I'm notorious for it. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill them in like so. So I found that the molds with a thickness of about 1 inch make the best Freshies, so I'd keep that in mind when you're making these as well. All right, I think it's cleaned up and it's ready to go. So the amount of time and temperature at which you bake your Freshies is dependent on your oven settings, so trial and error may be needed to find the best parameters for you. I'll be using a convection oven that's already been preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, so my Air Freshies only need about 5 minutes to bake, so I'm gonna pop them in and then I'm gonna keep a close eye on them just as they melt. Alrighty, so I already have my little oven here preheated, so I'm gonna grab my oven mitts, safety first. I'm just gonna put these on and pop these bad boys in. And again, I'm just leaving them in for 5 minutes, but of course, I'm gonna keep a close eye just in case they decide they wanna melt faster. And now we let them bake. All right, now that it's been 5 minutes, I'm gonna touch one of these gently to see if they're solid. I'm gonna grab my oven mitt here and just kind of pull it out. Safety first, kids. Ooh, let's see. Yep, they're pretty much good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull these out and then I'm gonna let them cool. Alrighty, so I'm gonna let these bad boys cool for just about 20 minutes or so. Just come and touch them, feel if they're cool and they're solid. If they're not, just let them rest a little longer. Alrighty, now that these have completely cooled and hardened, it is time to take them out of their molds. This is so pretty, look at her, she's just so pretty. And it's so smooth on the bottom. Anyways, they smell, oh my goodness, they smell so good. Can't wait to stick this in my car or wherever else I decide I need to put them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and peel out the other 5. Alrighty, and just like that, you're basically done. I think they turned out perfectly. This DIY project was super simple, but you know, there's tons of ways you can bring these to the next level with different colors, fragrances, and shapes. And your Air Freshies can be hung just about anywhere around the house or even in your car, which I think I'll do. So just remember that these will get a little squishy if they're exposed to high heat, but no worries. So each Air Freshie costs us about $2 to make, meaning they can be sold wholesale for $3 to $5 and retail for $6 to $8. So check out all the other air fresheners we've made here on our channel by jumping over to our channel and watching our DIY playlist. If you haven't already, become a member of our notification squad by subscribing to our channel and ringing that bell icon. Your support really helps us out. And to let us know what you want to learn next, comment down below and get in contact with us on our socials linked down below. As always, I'm your girl Maddie, and thank you so much for joining me today and watching. And until next time, bye.